Okay, everybody, buckle your seatbelts because the Michael Finkley Show has a brand new home.
The Michael Finkley Show is now a part of the Greater Works Network on Roku TV. To watch, add the Greater Works Network channel to your Roku TV. Congratulations, Finkley!
Our guests today are using their voices and talents to change the lives of others.
We have the host of the Great Minds podcast, Derrick Levine and Von Brown.
A whole bunch of hip-hop artists that we actually like and we were fans of.
It took off from there.
Waynell Henson of That Sunday School Girl stops by to tell her story.
Living in fullness every day is in what I consider these sort of small group discussions.
Coming up next.
Just to make it, just to make it. I've been working all my life just to make it, just to make it, just to make it.
Everybody, welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. I'm Michael Finkley. Today is Monday, January 18th, 2021. Another week of blessings, opportunities, and ultimate personal success. What are we waiting on? Also, happy Martin Luther King Day as well. My dear fraternity brother, change the perspective of a person's thinking and influence a great generation. Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King, for all that you have done. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel on The Michael Finkley Show and ring that bell for notification. We'll send you an email saying, hey, new content's uploaded. Thank you so much to our subscribers, our viewers, our future subscribers, our future viewers. You're watching The Michael Finkley Show, where we're here to inform, educate, and inspire you. We're bringing you shows that you need to hear and you want to hear as well. Thank you so much. So the other day I was in my car and just driving along, handling some business, on some errands, that kind of thing. And I remember, I think I was at a red light and I was just like, oh my gosh, hurry, 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 hurry. I need to get to this store. Hurry, 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 hurry. And I had to stop myself. And I really thought about, I have to stop fast forwarding life. We are in especially my generation, we millennials, as you call us, we are so used to a popcorn life. We want things and results right away. And I'm the person that I will admit to that. In various situations, I need to do it now. I want it now, I want results now. But in the process of life, you learn, right? You learn and you grow because you learn from what you've been through, experience. So we fast forward through those things. How can we grow? How can we learn? How can we be effective for self and effective for people? So my thing right now that I'm learning is I have to stop fast forwarding life or wanting to fast forward life because I'm going to miss the opportunity to grow. Food for thought. Today we have an awesome show for you today. Again, with guests that have incredible stories. These persons are changing the world through their voices, through their various platforms. We have the Great Minds podcast with Von Brown and Derrick Levine. I'm telling you, they started the same time as I did on last year, but they're making a difference. They're bringing you culture. They're bringing you conversations. They're bringing you influence. And I'm telling you, these young brothers are doing it up. And then we also have Waynell Henson. You may know her as That Sunday School Girl. And the platform just started off in her just teaching one lesson about what the Sunday school lesson was going to be about at her church. And she is blowing up. She's blowing up, but she gets to tell her story next. Y'all, another show you don't want to miss. We'll be right back.
Coming up, we have the Great Minds podcast hosts, Von Brown and Derrick Levine. We'll be right back.
On the next Michael Finkley.
We have Alan Simmons and Stan Pearson II.
Next Finkley.
Wednesday.
Looking for a mentoring program for your young male between the age of 6 and 18 in Columbia, South Carolina? Well, look no further. Big Homie, Little Homie Mentoring Program is the program for you.
Under the leadership of Mr. Jamal Stroud, Big Homie Little Homie is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that caters and mentors at-risk youth that come from single-parent homes. The organization caters to young males between the ages of 6 and 18 within the greater Columbia area. The organization is devoted to shaping and molding their life into great men of society. Big Homie Little Homie organizes male gatherings, discussions, and even educational assistance devoted to guiding and leading them into a positive light. Making a positive attitude will help in transforming a life regardless of what is experienced in life. For more information on Big Homie Little Homie Mentoring Program, visit our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show, y'all. We are still celebrating season 2, and we again have some incredible persons with incredible stories. Now, I must tell this story. When I first launched in April of last year, I was doing my research and I came across this awesome podcast, the Great Minds Podcast, and I had to introduce myself to these awesome Black males. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please introducing to the world Von Brown and Derrick Levine. Hello, everybody.
What's going on, everyone?
Thanks, man. What's up, everyone?
I'm so glad. I'm a fan. I really am a fan. And I catch your shows whenever I have the opportunity to do so. Y'all have some incredible content. And so you all have your own podcast, but you're also fathers, your content, your content persons as well, creators. And so how did it all start? How did you all meet? Because you're friends. That's number one.
Yeah, Derrick, you want to start it off?
Yeah, I kind of well, we've been friends since college, so 1999. Lived together in an apartment style complex for a year, so we always been pretty tight. But I want to say like January. I've always been wanting to do a podcast. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with it. It initially started like we're big fantasy football fans, so I always envisioned doing a fantasy football podcast. I do well in it. A lot of people hit me up about advice, like, things like that. So, and Vaughn's good at it too. So I called him one day. I think it was shortly after Kobe's death.
Passing, yep.
Yeah. And it was just kind of like, it was one of those things where like, he passed suddenly. I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. And I was just kind of like, man, I've been wanting to do this podcast. Like, you could lose your life in an instance. I mean, not to be dramatic, but it was just kind of like, something can happen to you. You never really get to do what you intended on doing for a while. So, I gave Vaughn a call. He's well versed in fantasy football. That's why I was kind of envisioning it at the time. I mean, he's well versed in a lot of things, just like I am. So, I was just kind of like, all right, let's do this. How are we going? We met up right before
COVID. Yeah,
right before we were even able to
stop meeting.
to stop meeting. I want to say it was like a week before we met up at a restaurant, kind of, shifted gears as far as like what we wanted to do. Our plan initially was like one or twice a month or something like that.
Yeah. We were looking at like once or twice a month. And then, like Derrick said, pretty much everything Derrick said is right on point. It was just, I was thinking about doing the podcast, and I didn't know he was thinking about doing the podcast too. So kind of like, it was one of those things that just worked out. So we talk all the time, but we never talked about that. Because I had did one previously years ago, but didn't know what a podcast really was. I didn't know how to format it. We were playing around with certain things then. And then I wanted to just definitely give a shout out to Combat Jack. And people don't know who Combat Jack is. Combat Jack was a hip hop podcast. He passed away, I think, in 2018. I think it was colon cancer, I believe. So he definitely laid the blueprint down for a lot of I would say urban podcasts. So he was music, and he had Just Blaze on his podcast. He had Premium Pete. These are names that are big. Like Premium Pete was there. Dallas Penn was one of them. Just Blaze again was the DJ on it, and we all know who Just Blaze is. So he kind of showed me the blueprint of it, but I wasn't doing it anymore. So I was like seeing like, wow, people are doing this stuff. I had thought about that in 2010, and I didn't know what to do. So fast forward again to 2019, Derrick and I always talk and we always goofing around about certain things. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm gonna do the podcast thing, but I'm gonna do it by myself because it's difficult when you're by yourself doing the podcast. We all know that, and you know that, Mike.
Yep.
So it's difficult. So it's like, all right, I was thinking about it internally. I spoke to my wife about it, spoke to a few other friends about it. And then Derrick hit me up, was like, I'm thinking about doing the fantasy football one. I'm like, whoa, all right, that's right down what I was thinking about. Let's do it. So it just clicked. And I think that the thing that's good about us is that we're really friends. Right. So it's to the point where I can tell what he's going to say and I have an idea where he's trying to take a conversation and I can play off him, he can play off me. So it's not anything that we're kind of like, it's not forced, you know?
It's not like we thrown together like, oh, you two guys, I think you would fit. It's like a natural conversation.
Yeah. Right. Like we were in each other's weddings. Like it's like we go back that far. Like he knew me, he knew my wife when we went to school together. He knew her, you know what I'm saying, back in 2001. So like we're real friends. Like it's not like a joke.
I gotcha. Oh wow. And again, that friend, collaboration, it makes the difference, right? It truly makes a difference working together as you all are doing. And so your content, describe to everyone, what content do you all focus on?
Wow.
I don't know that we focus on a particular thing.
Mm-hmm. I
think we kind of focus on like people that we like or people that we're interested in and people that are doing great things, because it's like, let's talk about a rapper. Like we have a lot of rappers on. It's just like, if the top, it could be the top rapper on the charts, but like, I mean, not that we would necessarily get that person, but like if we're not interested in that person, we don't want them on the show just because they're popular. Like we want people on the show that we like. We want people on the show that we're fans of. Like sometimes Vaughn will bring somebody up to me and I never heard of the person, and it's just like, oh, this is cool, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And I know like if he's bringing it up and he has some interest, I could find some genuine interest in whoever that is too.
Right. Yeah, that's what it is too. It's a respect for each other. So like I know if he brings something up to me, I'm like, all right, Derrick's really behind this. Let's make this work. Let's figure it out. And even if I haven't heard the person, we'll just go, okay, let's just figure it out. I'll do my research and then we'll come to the table and we'll do it. And I think the thing that we try to do is we try to learn something from each guest, right? So every time we meet with somebody, whether it's an artist, whether it's a writer, it's an actor, actress, right. We're always trying to learn. So we want to basically, we want to find out more about them, not just their craft, but it's more about what they do, what they like, what they do in their spare time. When they're not, we all know that you might do music, but you might like to cook. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So what do you do when you're not on stage, quote unquote? I think that's really what we try to pinpoint, because everyone knows that they see the Hollywood sign, like they see, oh, you do this, but what do you do behind the scenes? That's the most important part. And I think that it can help kids. When kids see that too, we try to put things out because we're fathers. So we like to put things out that the young generation can see and grow from and learn.
Right, definitely. And I'm so glad you mentioned the behind the scenes. So it's two of you all. Yep. What does that look like in putting something like this together, and what type of investments have you invested within yourself to get this done? Because you all are invested in this.
Yeah.
You said it's like just little stuff, like you got to pay for the format you're using to make sure you're doing that. Honestly, planning, we like to make our show so organic. Like we, early on we used to, get more in depth about what we wanted to talk about, but now it's just kind of like we have a format, we meet to discuss what we want to do in the future. But as far as like a person coming up, we barely talk about what we want to cover. Maybe if I see something that's like, stands out about a person, I'll be like, I'll send him some information like, oh, I didn't know he did this. He'll be like, oh, I didn't know that, or good,
Yeah.
So,
sure.
So it's, we like to make it as organic as possible. Like,
So I think as far as like time equity, I think a lot of times like what we do, we got to give a shout out to our wives definitely with this, because, we have little ones and we have things that's going on. So they're definitely invested in it as well. Right. Because we have to take time and we have to, it could be that night. We record at night. So we record around 9 p.m. when we're going to record. A lot of times when the little ones are going to sleep or winding down or, but our wives are there too. So our wives, they double check, make sure, okay, like leave daddy alone today. Daddy's doing X, Y, Z, or, he's doing some homework or whatever you want to say.
Right.
And that's definitely a thing that we do with our time, platform again. And then as far as preparing, man, like preparing for stuff, like Derrick's totally right. Like our stuff is so organic that people that we interview, they don't realize that because we don't stop hitting record. Like, so once we go in, we like a one shot deal. We don't stop. We don't edit that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We just like, all right, and we go and keep it organic. And we think that's the best way because we don't want people to feel that they're being like sequestered, you know, to do something. So it's more like, all right, have a conversation and we'll meet, you know, briefly to go, okay, like 20, 30 minutes before the show about to start. All right. And then boom, I don't know his questions. He don't know my questions. Mm-hmm. So it's to the point where we just know, again, we know each other. So we can feed off each other and we can see certain things. And I can kind of go, okay, I have this question in my head and there's no notes. Like, I might just have my phone. There's no notes. It's all in my head or in his head too. And we just go through it, you know? So
that's amazing. That's what people are looking for, right? The realness. And that's why you all have the followers you do, the subscribers that you do, because you are your authentic selves.
Yes.
And a little bit more with that balance. How do you balance yourself in doing this and working and family?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's not easy, but like I said, I think we've gotten a lot just better at like what our formula is. Mm-hmm. So like I said, early on in the process, we had to, you know, take time out to make sure we were, you know, kind of in line with similar questions. But like we don't even do that anymore. Like we probably meet, I don't know, 15 to 30 minutes a week, depending on like, you know, some episodes are a little bit more in depth. So we speak longer. Like if we're doing a specific topic and we want to go like top 10, whatever, like we, you know, that takes a little bit longer to prep, but you know,
I was going to add, we're very, very concise. Okay. So we make use of our time. So like, all right, if I'm doing something and Derrick might text me and go, hey, are you cool to meet at 6 o'clock? I can't do it at 6 o'clock. I can meet at 7. All right, 7. You good? Yeah, you're good. It's like one of those things. All right, 7:15, boom, we knock it out. We off the phone.
Right.
where even our wives might not even know we're talking or setting stuff up because we'll just meet, talk. I'm always on my phone anyway, but we meet, talk, do what we got to do, and we're quick. Because I know his time is precious, my time is precious. So, and we know that we want to make sure our family gets the same time, you know, because something, we don't want anything to suffer. It's hard to kind of juggle everything, but I think we do a good job at it.
And you're doing well from my point of view. Good Lord, you're doing well.
Appreciate it.
And so, what are some of your most memorable shows or guests that you've had thus far on your podcast?
We went through, I mean, all of them have added a special element. We had a good friend of mine, Doc, Brick City Booty, he goes by. And I've known him for a long time, but even through like, still being in contact with social media, texting each other here and there, like I didn't know like some of the struggles and some of the things he was going through. And he was just like so transparent. Like he does music too and meditation. Like we meant to cover everything, like, but it went so left in a good way that we some of the stories that like we had to do a part 2 because we didn't even get to his music really.
Yeah.
So he had, I mean, you can check it out. I believe it's episode 21, but a lot of this stuff blew me away because I knew him really well and I learned a lot that show. So
yeah, and I can say for me, we spoke on this in our year wrap up. It was episode 1. It was episode 1 that stood out the most to me just because it was the first one. We did it on hip hop, our top 20 hip hop albums of all time. And it was basically our opinion, just our opinion. And we had some feedback, some flag, and people were like, what are you talking about? But we got the conversation going. And I knew we had something there too. And then once we had that and we had the back and forth with people and it was sparking conversation in a good way, not in a bad way, in a good way, because we don't ever want to put negative stuff out there. It's always positive stuff. It's always subjective to your opinion. And then the second one that stuck out to me, they all stick out, they're all special to us in our heart, is when we had a rapper by the name of Sky Zoo on. And Sky Zoo was a rapper that we have followed for years. And we just knew we would always talk about. And we had other people on that we kind of had a connection with. So we knew them in some form or fashion. We had LaDune Thompson from Body of God. He has a great clothing line. We know him though. So it was one of those things where we knew him and he knew us and he had no problem with doing it. This was someone that didn't know us from a can of paint.
And we were huge fans of him.
We were huge fans of him. And he basically said, let's do it. And when he said, let's do it, we're like, all right, is he serious?
Let's do what?
Let's do what? Because we thought he wanted to do like a live. He was like, nah, let's do a pod. we were like, all right, cool, because we didn't really expect that, because again, we don't have no connection to him at all. So when he jumped on and we just, it was organic and it felt right, and he answered all our questions. We went back and forth, and he was like, I like you guys, like your format, like what you guys are doing. I'll come back anytime you need me, let me know. When he said that, so I said, we definitely have something now, because people feel comfortable talking to us. And then that actually spun into a whole bunch of hip hop artists that we actually liked and we were fans of.
It took off from there.
It took off, but just like boom. So he was the one in that hip hop arena that basically took a chance on us. Mm-hmm. We knocked it out of the park. And then that was the president when everyone saw us interview him. Like, how'd you get him? How's that going on? Mm-hmm. And then they just, felt comfortable with us.
Yeah, that's probably my other one too. I didn't think about it.
That is amazing. Just when your influence kicked in. I love that aha moment.
Right. Yeah, definitely did.
I love that. I love that. So going forward in the future, what exciting new plans and ideas do you have for your podcast?
I mean, we just, we're gonna get a couple episodes that get the conversations going.
Yeah.
We got one coming out on the 15th that I think will be
a good one. Yeah.
Be pretty spicy. So I think that one to be good. But now, just finding people in different genres and of life, and just pushing the culture forward, man, and putting people that are doing good things in a different light. I mean, we don't have tons of followers, but I mean, if we could get 10 people over to what you do, I mean, that's more than you had. If you're a doctor, we have a dentist friend that was on. Like, if we helped her get 4 clients, that's huge,
Yep.
Or whatever the case is, and just trying to continue to learn, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, I would add too, like Derrick stated, just to elaborate on that. Just continue to learn, pushing the culture forward, collaborating. I think I talked to you about that, Mike, in the green room, collaborating with more content creators. That's what we're focusing on too now. Getting those people on our platform and vice versa, like this. Right. We appreciate this a lot. And just putting good vibes out, good energy out with people. We want to see everybody win, want everyone to be successful, and it's it's a big world out there. And I think the more people the better. And we'll be coming across some real great people within this content creator space, I guess you could say. That's new to us, that we're figuring out the ins and outs of it. But that's definitely it.
Yeah, I love that. Giving back. We're giving back, and people are giving to us. Right. And that's what it's all about. I love the way you said that the world is big, right? A lot of people in this arena that I've met thus far, some people I've met thus far, they're kind of competitive, have that competitive drive. I'm like, there's a lot. There's too many people out there in the world. There's too many ears. There's you do you and I do me. Let's just do it.
And that's definitely how it is. And I think that's what people got to get out of that crab in the bucket mentality. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to pull anybody down to pull yourself up. That's not what it's about. Right. You just support. They support you. You give that love that is given to you. Exactly. Keep the energy pure and positive. You good.
Exactly. Yes, sir. So final thoughts. I love to end my sessions with encouraging words. So there's someone out there looking at you. They're saying that I want to be like Von and Derrick in this platform. What would you tell them?
There you started.
Yeah, I would just say just being secure in your spot. I have no issue bigging up another podcast, another whoever. I don't mind sharing people's stuff, because I mean, we secure with our spot. We don't need to be in competition with everyone. If I look at somebody else's podcast personally, I'm doing it to see where we can improve.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've helped people on Twitter reach out like, hey, what do you guys
use and stuff like that?
Using, like, here, this is what we do. I'm not trying to hold anybody back, and like Vaughn said, the world is big. Like, you may not like our podcast, but you might like theirs, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. So just being secure, really just being secure in your spot, and putting that good energy forward is what I would say.
Yeah, and I would say self-love too. So you gotta love yourself and be secure with yourself. And I think that a lot of people their insecurities come out. You gotta be willing to be critiqued. You gotta have tough skin. If you don't have tough skin, it's not the thing for you. Right. Because once you put your face out there, you put your words out there, they're out there. And what you're doing is history. So it's time stamped and it's there. So you have to mean what you say and say what you mean. We know a lot of that in the politics we seen that's different, right? We're not political, but we gotta say what we, say what you say, mean what you mean. I'm sorry, mean what you say and say what you mean. I apologize, but definitely and work hard. You gotta work hard, man.
Yeah, you gotta work. You gotta put the time in for sure.
Put the time in, no shortcuts, none of this stuff. In life, pretty much.
You got that right, y'all. That's some wisdom right here. No shortcut. You got to put the time in.
Got to put the time in.
My friends, how can they find you on social media, and how can they listen for your awesome platform on your podcast?
Well, we're on IG at The Great Minds Podcast. On Twitter at The Great Minds P1. And that's really all we have as far as
email thegreatminds@gmail.com.
Yep, The Great Minds Podcast @gmail.com. And we're on Spotify, The Great Minds Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, SoundCloud, pretty much wherever you can listen to, and on YouTube. Subscribe, please. Yep.
Not only you can hear them, but you can see them as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Von, Derrick, I thank you so much for being on and telling your story. Y'all, please, if you're looking for an awesome podcast, The Great Minds Podcast will do you justice. Thank you all.
All right, thank y'all.
Appreciate you. Everybody be safe.
Next, we have that Sunday school girl, Waynell Henson. We'll be right back.
Does your kid rock?
Wednesdays, we feature kids that rock. Want to participate? Email us at michael@thefinkleyexperience.com and tell us your story. Wednesdays.
I'm just not college material. I am tired of school. I'm just not sure what I want to do after graduation. Sound familiar? Welcome to the Prelo Educational Institute. Our focus is to help young people prepare for life after high school. It's never too early to start planting the seed for education, career, and life overall. The Prelo Educational Institute is made up of the following 2 products. The first product is the book titled I Ain't Going to College, A Guide for Life After High School. This is the first book of a series that introduces middle and high school students to a young man struggling to find his way and make the decision about whether attending college is the right choice for him or not. The book has questions inside, and a supplemental curriculum can also be purchased. The newest product from the Prelo Educational Institute is our online course titled Preparing for Life After High School. In this course, students will learn about decision-making, self-confidence, accountability, self-awareness, and many other topics that speak to social-emotional learning. Young people will read a story about a young man who never gave up no matter what the circumstances were. The course is interactive and has questions, quizzes, and video. Do not wait until your child or student is a senior in high school to start planning. Enroll today. To enroll and learn more, please visit www.speakerauthormarlowe.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show, y'all. We are still in the groove and the move of season 2. And again, we have another amazing individual. She doesn't really need an introduction because you already know who she is. She is that Sunday school girl, Waynell Henson. Waynell.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you. I am. Listen, your energy is contagious. Even if I weren't great, I would be after saying hello to you, but I am amazing. And I'm so glad to be here with you today.
Oh, thank you for saying yes. And as we were talking about before we got started, I am a major fan. I was on your platform a few years ago teaching a Sunday school class. And I'll tell you, as a Sunday school teacher, myself for the males class at my church, I follow a lot of the things that you were doing and saying and strategies. So thank you for that. That really helped.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. And I laughed when I was prepping for this. I was like, I need to go pull out that old footage because it's actually still on my channel, but I think I might need to repost that so the people can see Michael then and Michael now.
Oh my gosh, I had less hair.
I think we should do it for sure. But thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So, Waynell, how did this all get started? Let's go back a little bit. Were you strictly raised in a religious/spiritual household?
Absolutely was. That's a great question. So I am, yes, raised in a ministry family. My family, I actually represent the 4th generation of ministry leadership in my family. So my great-grandfather was a pastor. My grandfather was a pastor. My father was a good deacon. I mean, a good one. He was a good preaching deacon. He could out-preach most of the preachers. And then my brother is a pastor. So absolutely grew up in a ministry family and learned to not only love God, but to love his people and truly the responsibility of serving the people of God. So I love it. I do. And it's what we do. And so, for sure. I've always been here.
I love that. And as you went to church when you were younger, what type of things were you a part of to get those spiritual juices flowing for you?
I think I would be easier to say what I was not a part of, but literally. So I always laugh. I was born on a Sunday morning at 10:15. My birth certificate reflects that. Now that is meaningful to me because Sunday school at my grandfather's church started at 10:15. So literally I always say that my mother did not make it to Sunday school that day because I was on my way. And I, from a child, participated in everything from those Easter speeches that we would hate to learn to Christmas plays. And I laughed a few weeks ago with the Burger King crowns, looking at the wise men. So I have always done something in ministry. But then when I was probably about 9, I started to get what I would consider sort of my first leadership role. And I'm so excited to say that my first true leadership role was being the secretary in the Sunday school department. And so I learned to be responsible for getting the offering in and count it correctly and to be able to stand up and read before people that full offering report. And that was my special job. And I took it to heart. So there have always sort of been these opportunities. And I look back on it now and literally see how the church has this way of really preparing us for what we do. I laugh sometimes at church kids because we're the ones who are usually not shy when we get to school and they're waiting on somebody to speak up. We're like, okay, I got you. So those are the kinds of things I did like any other kid. So it was great.
Of course, with an outspoken one. And so what does Sunday school mean to you?
Sunday school is life to me. And I have started to use that phrase in the last couple of years when I literally look at what it is. And I'll say this, I am working to de-Sunday Sunday school. And when I say that, I want to, I'm trying to have people to see it in a new way, not just that you're showing up at 9 o'clock with your book the way that you always did, but literally you asked me, what does it mean to me? It's God's word, and Sunday school is life. And so in it are life-giving principles for life living. Everything we need, living in fullness every day, is in what I consider these sort of small group discussions on the word of God, and not just something that's on your schedule, but literally that space where I can read it and talk about it, and more than anything, ask questions about it, because I don't know about your church, but at my church, there is no, excuse me, Pastor, while he's preaching, but in Sunday school, we have that space where we really open up those life discussions. And honestly, that's the best part. You know, I don't want anybody to be impressed because I can articulate a Bible lesson. I love the community and I love the discussion that happens in really rich classes. So for me, it really means community, and it means an opportunity to understand how, when you talk about I'm living my best life, you live your best life when you have the roadmap for best life living, and that's God's word. So.
That's it. I love that. And you have changed single-handedly. There are other platforms, but I am talking about that Sunday school girl. You have single-handedly changed that concept of Sunday school. How did this begin for you?
So I laugh every time someone asks me this question. I never saw myself doing this. I have always served in Sunday school in some way. I told you I've been the secretary since I was 9. I've been a teacher. I work with my church in the national department, but honestly, I'm the finance person. I sit in the back of a room, I collect reports, and I do the financial transactions for the department. But in terms of, that kind of leadership, I didn't see that happening. But I'm almost ashamed now, but maybe 6 years ago, there was a very unfortunate incident that happened in my national church. And we became sort of the joke of everyone for like a week's time. There were all kinds of parodies done. Jimmy Kimmel laughed at us. We were on All the Morning Talk. It was terrible. And like that Friday, I was so annoyed and protective of my church that I went on Facebook and I said, all week long, we have talked about my church. We have laughed at my church. We have done this. Today, we're going to talk about something different. We're going to talk about Sunday school. And for 6 minutes, I just talked about the lesson that was coming up. And I mean, when I did it, it was like, leave my church alone. And by the way, tomorrow I'll go and support my friend because he's going to talk about the Sunday school lesson. Like he does that, I don't. And I started getting inbox messages that said, are you going to keep doing this? And I was like, no, I just wanted you to stop talking about my church. And literally, I looked at the message 2 weeks ago at the person who says, I don't consider myself a prophet. She says, but I think you need to ask God about this. And I did that. I asked God, what is this? And what do I do with it? And literally when he showed it to me, it was so outside of me that I said, oh goodness, oh, that's interesting. We're in a series right now about God's calling. So I just had a moment here thinking about when God gives you an assignment, how we are so quick to say, that's not me, or that's outside of me, or it's too big. And I did that because I didn't see anything like this. And yet for everything that I didn't know how to do, I can tell you that even now, God shows me what to do. As strategic as I think I am, this is a space where literally when he tells me to move, I move that way. And so everything that it took to set up as a brand, I started to move that way. And literally, God has done the rest. He's put me in the right communities, the right spaces, and really, I think with the right heart to serve. And that's all I want from this is for people to literally see God's word in a new way and to be excited that his word is here for us and we have this amazing treasure in it. So that's how it all came about.
I love that story. And again, with your content and just your enthusiasm for God's word, you have been blessed tremendously. And I must say this again, in watching you, I brought that same energy back to my church home. Like I'm making shirts. I'm like, okay, let's get this. Sunday school is what it is. Let's do it. Let's represent it to the fullest. They even put me on the Sunday school committee for our anniversary. And I loved it. I'm just like, you know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna represent. We do services based on our different committees. So Sunday school, I'm always in singing and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm like, let's go. And all trickles down to what you brought to the table. So what type of blessings have you seen from this platform, not just for self, but for others as well?
Well, first of all, I am blessed when I hear testimonies like yours, like that. I got sidetracked, like I'm celebrating and I'm like, yes, God, go do it. But then, the me and me was over here being petty, like, well, why didn't he send me a shirt? I like Sunday school shirts too. But anyway, I won't hold you to that. Yeah. But you asked what kinds of blessings. Literally, when I hear, and I just came off of a session this morning, when I hear teachers say that I am excited because you are excited. My passion is back because I stay connected. And here's the one I love, that I've been challenged to go deeper than the commentary. I heard one person say, I no longer am a parrot that recites the commentary. That's not what I do, but I want to get in and I want to dig and I want to give and be my best. That is so important to me. And probably the biggest blessing when you talk about blessings, because I didn't know how God would move this thing, the biggest blessing for me is that this availability is global. So the people that I touch are not just my denomination. In my most recent conference, I want to say there were 37 states represented, and there was someone from Japan who was present. So I'm getting the opportunity to engage and to talk to people in different countries. And it is absolutely incredible. I love the personal stories that people send back and just seeing people's passion be reignited for the love and the word of God and just helping people see it in a whole new way. I love everything about it.
Gosh, and that love shows. It's pouring out of the screen. It's pouring out of the screen. Oh my word. So what's next for that Sunday school girl? What are some things that you're working on currently?
Well, thank you. That's a great question as well. So I have been, I'll say two things. First is I wanted to be sure that I wasn't just being viewed as the Cliff's Notes for Sunday school. I absolutely started my work in the digital space and sharing sort of these short videos that got you prepared for Sunday school. But then God started to move and shift me in a way that I was able, people ask me, how do you do that? How do you get this done? And so he put me in a space to be able to share. And so, yes, before the pandemic, I was able to travel and work directly with ministries, with large organizations, to talk to them about how they're structuring their region work, their large church work, actually how to get the work of ministry done. In the pandemic, I actually pivoted like everyone else, but it wasn't for the sake of like staying afloat. My pivot was God just told me to serve. And literally, as we all shifted, there were these gaping spaces where people didn't know how to do ministry in this space. Right. And so right now, everything that I do is about serving in this crazy space. So I've been able to share not only my video and the notes that come with that, but there's a piece now that I do a packet for children. I do a short video for children, literally going live on Mondays and helping people to begin to get ready and to look at how they're engaging with the word. And the community that I am most excited about right now is called Two Step. So my conference back in September was called Step Summit. STEP is an acronym for Sunday School Teachers Equipped for Purpose. It was 2 days of amazingness, almost 400 people online. It was fantastic, but I believe that training is not an event. And if you look at any professional category, there is continuing education that happens. And so even the person who cuts your hair or does whatever has to have continuing education. And so I believe that in ministry. So Two Step is my continuing education program, and there are almost 100 people in there right now. It's brand new, but I'm excited because once a month I spend 2 hours, with them, and we just do motivational and training, and I show them technology that they can use. I'm literally taking my time because I want people to be successful in this space. I really do. So I'm excited about this year. There will be a conference. I'm looking at September again. And, you know, just some other trainings that will happen here and there. The other space that I've tried to kind of answer is, again, as we're in this digital space, I've done training as simple as how to work Zoom. And that may seem fairly intuitive to you and I, but if you don't know Zoom, you don't know it. Exactly. And if that's how you're being forced to serve, that's what you have to do. So I'm excited just to serve in this space for now.
Keep your excitement. Please don't lose it. We need you. We need you.
Thank you for that.
Oh my word. Definitely, definitely. And so I love to end my sessions with encouraging words. And so we're in this time, right? We're definitely in this time. What would you say to individuals that are just the beginning stages of getting into God's word, actually studying to show themselves approved?
Thank you. So I would definitely say, first of all, you're in the right space. I think that the world right now is filled with so many solutions and so many options for solutions. And if we're not careful, we will find ourselves with itching ears that speak to the things that may feel good to us, but may lead us down paths that we didn't intend to go. But when we stick with God's word, one thing we know is that his word is sure, that his word does not return back to him void. And his word gives us everything that we need for life and living. And so I would say to anyone, number one, you're in the right place. Number two, it's not as difficult as some may make it appear. We look at King James and the yea, though, thous, and thuses. If that doesn't work for you, go get a Message Bible, but stay there and know that the solution for what you need is there. And I would definitely say, make sure that you are connected to a Bible-based community that allows you spaces where you can talk about the things that you're reading and you can raise the questions that you have. I would even invite you into my space where we literally go through on Monday nights. And that's what we do is I literally pick up a Bible and I share a template every Monday. And all I ask you to do is to read along with me and write down what the word, it will stand out. What stands out to you? Do you have questions? Was something weird? You know, when I read about John the Baptist last week, I told everybody, let's not read over that part about him wearing camel's hair and a leather belt. That's not normal, but let's engage with the word and not be afraid to take it, to enjoy it, and then to be challenged by it and to be made different by it as well. So you're in the right space. Stay there, get a great devotional, and just allow God to speak to you through his word.
I couldn't say that better myself. You're in the right space. Stay there. I love that. Waynell, how can they find you on social media?
Thank you. I would love for you all to connect with me on social media. First of all, the best space is on YouTube, and you can find me under the name That Sunday School Girl. But yes, you may visit me at thatsundayschoolgirl.com. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I have a Twitter. I'm not that great on Twitter, but you'll find me there. And if I have super young people who love Snapchat, I snap about once a week, but I'm out there too. So, you know, but the main places are going to be YouTube and on Facebook, so, and Instagram. So
I love it. Y'all heard it here.
Don't just show up. Listen, tell the people, Michael, tell them, don't just be out here lurking on the YouTube. Go on and click that subscribe button. Yeah. I mean, you heard it. Come on in this house.
Hit that subscribe button and hit that follow button.
That's it. While you in there, get in this community. So, and we really are. I use that word a lot because I believe that as we're into this space, our communities are going to be important, and who we connect to, and our success in our faith journey is directly tied to community. So I talk about the TSSG community. We are just that, and you'll find lots of support, lots of sharing, and it's a great space. So I'm sincere in the invitation for you all to connect to this community. So thank you, Michael.
All righty. I love it. Y'all might see me on her platform again. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I feel something. I feel it.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you. That Sunday School Girl, thank you so much for being on and telling your story. And I hope that someone is encouraged by it to continue on in their spiritual endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All
and
right,
I'm praying the best for you as well.
Thank you so much. Back in a moment, y'all.
Calling all Trio, Gear Up, JAG, and other college readiness organizations. Hello everybody, it's Finkley with the Finkley Experience. I am here to offer you information about our college readiness cohort series.
This college readiness series includes college applications, SAT, ACT prep, scholarships, financial aid, the mental mind state, HBCU versus PWI versus technical colleges, and so much more.
You know, this is helpful because it's actually like making me change my college plan.
Really?
If interested, visit our website, thefinkleyexperience.com, or just email us at michael@thefinkleyexperience.com. We're looking forward to working with you. Hey, welcome back. So, you know today's Monday, Motivational Mondays with my brother, Timothy Clifton. Take it away, Tim.
Hey man, it's your boy, Timothy Clifton Jr., the Millennial Coach, and I'm just come here to teach you, and inspire and motivate you. And something in my spirit been telling me that somebody who watching this video have been having responsibility problems. So with this being said, I need you from this day forward, anybody who watching this, to take 120% responsibility of your life today. And I'm gonna say this again. I need you to take 120% responsibility of your life today. It's time to stop making excuses and start taking action. I've been seeing too many people use excuses that happened years ago. It's time to let that go. It's time to start fresh. It's time to start grinding. It's time to start putting in work. I'm so tired of people keep on using past trauma, past mistakes, past bad habits. Yes, they may have abandoned you. Yes, they may have stabbed you in the back. We all have our trauma story. We all have our backstab story. We all have our broken heart story. But that don't stop you. Not today. That don't stop you from moving forward. Stop using that as an excuse to wonder why you ain't where you want to be in life. It's people 30 and 40 and in their late 20s. Like, so that they stabbed you in the back. Yes, it may have had a bad effect on you, but that don't stop you. That don't end right here. That ends today. You can move way farther than you can even think of because you was born to be great. You can do whatever you put your mind to if you grind. As long as you grind and put in the work, I promise you, you can heal. You can become whole. You don't have to hold on to that trauma. You don't have to hold on to that pain no more. But you got to do the work. You have to do the hard, uncomfortable work if you want to push yourself forward. So stop taking them excuses and use that as motivation.
An exclusive interview with Dr. Kevin Wilbon.
What brought him to his own personal success?
Let them know that in order to go out and do the things they need to do, they have to take care of business first in order to get what they want.
Fridays Finkley.
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. I hope that you enjoyed yourself and you learned something in order for you to be successful, in order for you to find that peace and fulfillment that you're looking for on a personal level. Thank you so much to our guests, Vaughn, Derrick, Waynell, thank you so much. Tim, thank you for the motivation. Y'all, these are some good things happening here on the Michael Finkley Show. All right, take heed to them, take what you need, and then live. Please live. This life is too short. We have to enjoy all aspects of it. Let's just live, y'all. Thank you so much to our guest again. We appreciate you, and much success to all of you in your various personal endeavors. On the next Michael Finkley, we have two powerhouses. These are movers and shakers of 2021. We have Alan Simmons, and we also have Stan Pearson II. Again, they're leaving their mark in the world, and they have incredible stories. So another awesome show you don't want to miss. That's Wednesday. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Michael Finkley Show, and ring that bell for notification. We'll see an email saying, hey, new content's uploaded. Please listen to us, Apple Podcasts, and also Spotify. And also please visit our website for up-to-date information at the MichaelFinkleyShow.com. Again, MichaelFinkleyShow.com. If you'd love to be a guest on the Michael Finkley Show, please email us at Michael@thefinkleyexperience.com. Y'all, thank you so much for watching. And guess what? We will see you on Wednesday. Have a good one.